What is happening in the world of entertainment and sports, folks? It's Sheeran Scoop, and we've got a rapid-fire update that you absolutely do not want to miss. The news cycle is spinning faster than ever, and we're here to break down the biggest stories that are making waves right now. Get ready for some truly unmissable updates as we dive into a packed show. First up, a major name is reportedly heading to Chicago, promising a seismic event for wrestling fans. Then, we're heading into the realm of critically acclaimed series, where a star is opening up about some truly unexpected on-screen experiences that have everyone talking. And that's not all. We're also exploring how a popular show is digging deep into the DC archives, bringing back some surprising villains. Finally, we'll get the inside scoop on the complex relationships unfolding in that same hit series, with an actor revealing fascinating details about character dynamics. You won't want to miss a second of this. Make sure you're subscribed and the notification bell is on so you don't miss a single scoop. A wrestling legend's surprise destination. Could this week's wrestling spectacle be one for the history books? Whispers are growing louder about a massive name reportedly set to make an appearance in Chicago for Friday Night SmackDown. Reports from Fightful Select indicate that none other than Brock Lesnar is expected to be in the Windy City for the live broadcast. WWE sources have apparently confirmed that the Beast Incarnate is slated to travel to Chicago, fueling speculation about his involvement. While an official confirmation from the company is still pending, Lesnar's presence almost certainly points towards a significant role as WWE ramps up its build towards the upcoming premium live event, WrestlePalooza, scheduled for September 20th. This potential appearance follows Lesnar's explosive return at SummerSlam, where he delivered a shocking attack on John Cena, setting the stage for a highly anticipated clash between these two titans. Adding another layer of star power to the event, John Cena himself is also expected to be in attendance. A separate report from WrestleVotes suggests that this Friday might mark Cena's final appearance on the SmackDown brand as his farewell tour continues. With both Lesnar and Cena reportedly in the building, the atmosphere is ripe for a confrontation that could ignite the build-up to their rumored match at WrestlePalooza. Industry insiders have indicated that WWE is deliberately loading this week's show with major developments to significantly contribute to the hype for the Indianapolis event. Lesnar is reportedly scheduled to arrive in Chicago on Thursday, making his on-screen participation a strong probability for the live broadcast, and fans are buzzing with anticipation for what might unfold. Fans are already speculating wildly online about potential confrontations and dream matches, with Lesnar and Cena trending across social media platforms. Hold onto your seats because the drama is just heating up. Next, we're diving into the unexpected on-screen revelations from a beloved series star. An actor's bold on-screen frontiers. John Cena, a figure known for his commanding presence both in and out of the wrestling ring, is opening up about his willingness to embrace the full spectrum of on-screen performances, even discussing his experience filming a particularly daring scene for the second season of the hit series, Peacemaker. The HBO series, helmed by director James Gunn, features Cena in the titular role of Chris Smith, also known as the formidable superhero Peacemaker. The latest installment, which premiered on August 21st, has already generated significant buzz, with one trailer showcasing a rather unconventional scene involving the superhero in a bisexual orgy, a moment that is swiftly interrupted by his associate, Adrian, also known as Vigilante, played by Freddie Stroma. Further glimpses from the episode reveal Peacemaker sharing intimate moments with both male and female characters, pushing the boundaries of conventional superhero narratives. Speaking on the Peacemaker podcast, hosted by director and writer James Gunn alongside members of the cast, Cena reflected on the intense filming experience. He confessed that he doesn't believe James Gunn could surprise him with any script at this point. Cena described the first episode's Orgfist scene, recalling discussions with the cast and crew about navigating such uncharted territory. He humorously admitted to anticipating the most extreme scenarios, even considering the need to seek permission from his wife before engaging in such scenes, a testament to his personal values. However, Gunn's direction revealed a different approach, where Peacemaker's presence in the orgy was intended to highlight his detachment and lack of satisfaction, rather than active participation. This narrative choice serves to explore the character's deep-seated search for escapism through various means, none of which ultimately prove fulfilling, and the scene explicitly confirms the character's bisexuality. Following its debut, Peacemaker Season 2 has garnered widespread critical acclaim, securing the top spot on Rotten Tomatoes' list of best-rated DCU projects with an outstanding 99% approval rating from critics. The series is currently available for streaming on HBO. Fans are dissecting the implications of these new narrative directions, with discussions about character sexuality and the show's bold storytelling dominating online forums. But the surprises from Peacemaker don't stop there. Get ready as we uncover how the show is delving into the deeper lore of the DC universe with some unexpected villainous introductions. An obscure force emerges in the DCU. James Gunn continues to demonstrate his keen eye for excavating the more obscure corners of the DC Comics archives, and the latest episode of Peacemaker Season 2 proves to be no exception. While audiences might have grown accustomed to Gunn's penchant for unearthing lesser-known characters, this particular instance, involving the introduction of the paramilitary group known as the Sons of Liberty, may represent one of his most ambitious deep dives yet. The revelation occurs as Chris Smith, portrayed by John Cena, and an alternate version of Emilia Harcourt, played by Jennifer Holland, find themselves in an alternate reality and witness an attack on a federal building orchestrated by this mysterious organization. For those not deeply immersed in the mid-90s era of DC Comics, the Sons of Liberty might seem as unfamiliar as the Sons of Themyscira, whom Gunn recently reimagined in Creature Commandos. However, for fans who recall the era, the Sons of Liberty were part of a notable storyline featured in Superman comics. Debuting in Superman 53 in 1991, this shadow organization harbored ambitions of overthrowing the existing American government to establish a new regime aligned with their interpretation of the nation's founding principles. Their influence extended beyond a military wing, encompassing powerful business leaders and featuring a costumed operative known as Agent Liberty. In their original comic book narratives, the Sons of Liberty were responsible for the abduction of Lana Lang, Superman's former flame, with the intent of manipulating her fiancé, Pete Ross, who was Superman's closest confidant and later a senator from Kansas. The group's reign ultimately concluded when Agent Liberty turned against his own organization, eliminating key members and exposing their secrets to Clark Kent. While the comic book Sons of Liberty were eventually dismantled, their potential threat in the context of the DCU, particularly against a character like Peacemaker, is reevaluated. The original stories positioned them as a reflection of contemporary societal anxieties, touching on themes of right-wing paramilitary groups and political intrigue, mirroring real-world events like the Iran-Contra scandal. These narratives prompted Superman to confront his own ideals and the meaning of the American way. However, the grounded nature of these storylines sometimes felt like an unusual fit for Superman himself. This may explain why, in later iterations following DC's Rebirth soft reboot, the Sons of Liberty were repurposed as a more overtly violent right-wing terrorist group, pitted against a C-list hero like the Ray. Their inclusion as antagonists for Peacemaker, however, feels particularly resonant. In his original Charlton Comics incarnation, Peacemaker was associated with the Pax Institute, an organization that, despite its benevolent portrayal, could be interpreted as a shadowy governmental entity akin to the Sons of Liberty. This thematic connection was further explored in Grant Morrison's The Multiversity, Pax Americana. In the mainline DC continuity, Chris Smith's lineage as the son of a Nazi war criminal and his subsequent path toward redemption through the Peacemaker Project and intelligence organizations like Checkmate highlight his struggle against his darker origins. The Sons of Liberty in the DCU represent a path not taken for Chris. His father's white supremacist ideology could have easily led him to join such a group, perhaps even becoming their Agent Liberty. Instead, he strives for betterment. Yet, the brutal efficiency with which he dispatches the Sons in the latest episode suggests that the echoes of those darker paths may not be entirely extinguished. Ultimately, the Sons of Liberty symbolize a form of hope for Chris Smith. If even a character like Agent Liberty could find a place within the Justice League, it implies that Peacemaker, too, might one day achieve acceptance, perhaps not on the Justice League itself, but within a similar heroic collective. Fans are debating the thematic significance of this storyline and its potential implications for Peacemaker's character arc. And speaking of complex character dynamics, we're not done exploring the intricacies of Peacemaker just yet. Get ready for an inside look at the personal entanglements shaping our favorite characters, straight from the star herself. Unpacking character dynamics and dimensional love. In a recent episode packed with significant revelations, Peacemaker has undeniably clarified a past romantic entanglement between Harcourt, portrayed by Jennifer Holland, and Rick Flag Jr., played by Joel Kinnaman. The episode opens with a scene depicting the two discussing their relationship in a bedroom setting, having spent the night together. In true Harcourt fashion, she attempts to distance herself from a deeper emotional connection, despite evident mutual attraction. Their nascent relationship, however, is cut short as Flag is set to depart for Cordo Maltese, a journey that tragically ends with his death at the hands of Peacemaker, as depicted in The Suicide Squad, 2021, effectively concluding their brief romance. Showrunner James Gunn had reportedly informed Holland of the secret relationship between Harcourt and Flag Jr. prior to the commencement of Season 1. Holland shared with Sheeran Scoop that this piece of information was instrumental in shaping her portrayal of Harcourt's persistent animosity towards Chris Smith, John Cena. She explained that knowing about the past with Flag Jr. justified Harcourt's harsh demeanor towards Smith, stating, "It helped me to understand why it was okay for me to be a total C.T., for lack of a better word, to Christopher Smith." Holland elaborated on Harcourt's unique moral compass, which permits morally questionable actions as long as they are not directed at those who have placed their trust in her or are part of her team. As a soldier, Harcourt adheres to a strict code of loyalty, prioritizing her team above all else. This understanding, Holland noted, granted her the creative freedom in Season 1 to express unreserved disdain for Chris, without the need to introduce other layers to her character in the early episodes where she was simply saddled with a team member she openly despised. The narrative further deepens the complexity of Chris and Harcourt's dynamic in Episode 3. Driven by a moment of emotional vulnerability, Chris utilizes his father's dimensional gate to travel to an alternate reality where his brother, Keith David Denman, is alive and both are celebrated as heroes. In this alternate dimension, Chris discovers that Peacemaker and Harcourt were previously in a relationship, which ended due to Harcourt's perceived toxicity. This revelation comes as a shock to our Chris. Holland is currently undertaking a dual role, portraying both the familiar, deeply complex Harcourt from our dimension and an alternate version who appears more well-adjusted and possesses healthier communication skills. Her primary objective in differentiating the two characters was to avoid any comedic interpretations, striving for a grounded portrayal. Holland approached the alternate Harcourt by considering her as the same fundamental person, but shaped by a different upbringing and a less damaging set of childhood circumstances. She described this alternate Harcourt as friendlier and more gregarious, quicker to smile, but still carrying her own form of emotional damage, which ironically makes her more susceptible to romantic pursuits and perhaps more insecure in love compared to her primary dimension counterpart. This alternate dimension's Peacemaker was evidently a far more problematic individual before his demise in the first episode of the season. Whether it was his flamboyant attire, tight leather pants, or severe substance abuse issues, his negative traits were evident. Yet, despite these issues, the alternate Harcourt was drawn to him. Holland speculates that the reasons are quite simple: daddy issues. She posits that Harcourt is attracted to the douchebag persona, suggesting that she is drawn to individuals who treat her poorly, a pattern observed in many people who are either seeking to fix someone, as Holland believes might be the case with Harcourt too, or are inadvertently repeating childhood patterns. Holland concluded by humorously dubbing this alternate character Thirst Court, highlighting her apparent desperation and underlying emotional needs. fans are actively debating the psychological motivations behind Harcourt's attraction to Chris and the implications of the alternate dimension storyline. And that brings us to the end of our deep dives for today. But before you go, don't miss our rapid-fire recap of all the top stories and our call to action. And that's a wrap on today's Sheeran Scoop. We've covered a massive potential appearance from Brock Lesnar in Chicago, John Cena's candid thoughts on pushing acting boundaries, the surprising return of obscure DC villains in Peacemaker, and a deep dive into the complex relationships within that very same show. Don't miss out on any of the action. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this update, subscribe to Sheeran Scoop for all your breaking news, and ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop our next video. Plus, let us know your thoughts in the comments below and follow us on all our social media channels for more exclusive content.